So I'm reading out of my book, Married to a Nice Guy, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the terms that I have in the back and a little glossary section for you guys so that you would understand the terms that are used in the narcissistic abuse spaces. There are so many, and sometimes when I'm doing interviews, I'm like, we're saying the same things over and over because they're important and they're the tactics that narcissists will use with you. And so I wanted to give you those definitions. Okay, so the first one is DARVO. DARVO is, and it's often like the acronym put out, DARVO, DARVO, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender, is a tactic a person may use to deflect responsibility onto an individual they have abused. It is a form of manipulation a person may use to discredit a survivor's experience. So you'll often see this with, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, it doesn't matter if it's family or if it's a loved one, it doesn't matter, like a relationship, a romantic relationship, DARVO is often used to turn the issue around onto you. And I do talk about that in my book, that our first, and I do talk about that in my book, because it says our fights were a constant cycle of DARVO. I would first have the whole conversation in my head so that I would have the perfect words ready to go, but they were never perfect words. He would make every fight about me, and I would often announce, oh, we're at the part of the fight where you blame me for everything. It's so interesting to think back because DARVO was being used, but I didn't know what it was. And that's why it's so important that when you have definitions, it gives a name to what's going on with you, because narcissists use the same tactics. It's just incredible to me. And especially my story is about a covert narcissist, because covert narcissists are one way in the home and then another way in public. They don't abuse everybody. They have a target, and the target in my family was me. And so when he would turn everything around onto me, I didn't know what was going on, but I did have this knowledge. It's like, oh, this is the part of the fight where you blame me for everything. Everything. So like when you go to counseling, they often say, don't use the words always and never. But I have to tell you, narcissists are pretty consistent in the way they abuse. They always do certain things, or they never do certain things. And he would always blame me for every single fight, for every single thing that was wrong in our relationship. I could probably count on one hand the times that he apologized, and I can't even tell you what they were because we spent 33 years together. And so I think back to that, and it's like, who is using DARVO with you? And if they are using DARVO with you and you try to have a relationship with them, a healthy person will try to rectify the situation and have a conversation with you because they want to fix the relationship. But unhealthy people, and in this case, we're talking about narcissists, but any toxic people, anyone who's unhealthy, they are not going to try and fix a situation with you. So that's how you have to look at a relationship that you might be in. If they never want to try and work out the relationship with you and they only blame you for whatever is going on in your relationship, say your marriage or your romantic relationship, you're not dealing with a healthy person. And narcissists will never change. That is really shown that the majority of them do not think there's anything wrong with them, and they will not change. So you have to decide, am I going to continue to have a relationship with this person who is never going to change and who doesn't seem to want to fix our relationship and only wants to blame me? And one of the ways they do that is with DARVO. So you have to decide what you want to do. I think life's too short to continue to have a relationship with someone who only wants to blame you and never wants to fix your relationship. So that's something to consider. I hope that helps.